Hey everybody, welcome back. Going to do a video. This is going to be probably a pretty quick and short one because it's just about getting to level 80 and how long it's going to take. I had a spreadsheet to put together. Punk kindly put together a nice infographic for it, so it's a little bit more palatable versus seeing on a spreadsheet, which leads me to Punk does great work. Got a Patreon in the description below. If you want to support those efforts or any of the infographic efforts that we put together, please go down to that Patreon. Look for tier, I believe it's 2. It's the one with the pyro look image on it. If you become a Patreon for that specific tier, the funds on that go directly to Punk for those efforts. If you want to support the entire group and just kind of do it, just send me a DM or something and say, hey, look, I did tier whatever, but I want to support all you guys. That's happened as well. We appreciate any of the support you guys do. We try to put these things out for you guys to be more helpful, etc., etc. But if you want to help just Punk on some of those efforts, tier 2's there. I always want to shout that out because the guy does fantastic work in an attempt to try to really help everyone see things clearer and more simply. So having said that, let's go look at the spreadsheet and the beautiful infographic or the spreadsheet that Punk made a beautiful infographic from, and understand how long it takes to get to level 80.
Bring me WolverThor!
All right, first, the trash spreadsheet, right? So this is what I had. I was just kind of talking about it, going to shoot a video on it, and you know, this stuff isn't, I'm not going to go through these things in like I mean, look, actually, one thing I will say is, if you guys see anything on here that I did wrong, please let me know. Ran this by a few people, make sure I didn't miss anything, covered some stuff. It's like, all right, yeah, that all seems right. But, you know, the long and short of it is that, you know, you get daily energy, you got some cores here, the 50 core refreshes, and then you got the XP from the dailies, and you get a certain XP per day. And that's pretty much it. You know, right? So it's like, okay, you have the foundation of XP per day, which is right above my head here. And then it's like, all right, well, take that and then figure out how much XP you need per level, right? So not very complicated. You got the level cap for each one's over here. You got the XP required. And then I just go into how many days it is per level and how many weeks it is per level. You sum them up over here and you get 80 days total. You get 11.5 weeks, which is basically a little over 2.5 months. And that is only factoring in the 50 core refreshes. If you buy offers, if you do 100 core refreshes, which I know some people are doing, obviously that brings it down. Just depends how much money you want to spend to go from, you know, 2.5 months or a little over 2.5 months to 1 to 2 months, really is what it's about, right? But you're basically looking at 29,000 per level. You know, even that 25, there's that $25 offer, which I personally love, and I will shout that offer out. I personally believe it's the best offer in the game, and it's the one where you get $25 for a 3,000 energy. And the reason I say that is because not only at this time when it gives you XP, but it gives you around 600,000 gold. It gives you a bunch of training mats for whatever nodes you're farming. It gives you gear for nodes you're farming. It gives you shards for nodes you're farming. The reason that I feel that I've never run into a training mat, and let me show you this for a second. Before I go on this is why I firmly believe, I wasn't planning on adding this in here, but I think it's important to understand, is that the reason that I don't think I have any training mat issues is because of this. Look at the amount of training mats I have. I have never bought any training mat situation, ever, or an offer. And I've got all of these training mats, and you can see, I mean, I don't have can we filter by level here? I forget. I don't think we can. I wish I could. Unfortunately, I cannot. It's just, but I mean, I guess generally, trust me, I've got a lot of tunes up at, you can see here, 71, 71. Most of the tunes, any tune I really use, I try to bring to 71. You know, maybe a couple at 65. It looks like I've got down here that I'm definitely using 68, 65. So there's a few sprinkled in there, but you can see all of my tunes until you really get to the bottom of the barrel. Even Iron Fist and Baku's 65. Hand Blade Master 60. I've got some Kree at 65. Aim Researcher at 58. Like, why did I do that? That's stupid. Electra at 64. Nobu at 65. Ravager Stitcher at 58. You know, even these bottom tier tunes, I mean, it's Stitcher at 58 is begin the lowest ones. I've got Boomer at 59. You can see here. I mean, I've got a Nebula at 46, Merc Soldier at 45, Hydra Grenadier then drops off at 35, and then these, I've got these 4 at level 1. So my point is I've got a lot of tunes leveled up, and you can see I have a ton of training mats. Tons. That, you know, it's like, okay, I could do that and still have, I mean, I'll nip away at the orange, but I've still got a lot of these blues. So point is I believe part of that, the reason that I've got that, let's flip off the blue stacks, is because of this offer that I'm mentioning. And the offer's not there now, but look for it. The $25, 3,000 energy, it's going to get you theirs. Anyway, long story long about, you know, how to shorten this. If you're a spender and you want to get those 3,000, you know, and it comes every few days, so it's kind of like, all right, so that's 29,000 divided by 3. You know, you need to buy about 9 of those offers to get a level. So that's a lot per level, and that's times 25. And you've got, and that's $240 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically. I mean, that's $1,200 spent to quickly expedite that, which, do you want to shorten? Not, but it'll help you get there a little bit quicker, and it gives you those things. So anyway, long story long again, that is a way to bring it down to 2.5 months. So more importantly, let's look at the sexy infographic that Punk put together here. And that's what it is, the road to level 80. How long will it take? He made it so it summed up all the things that I just talked about. Again, not a lot here as far as to, you know, look at outside of what I just showed you, but it just looks nicer. You know, it goes to totals. We're going to put this out there with this video. So if you need to look at this quickly and you don't want to find a spreadsheet, come look at this infographic. It has the information on it, the calculations, all these different things. Again, if they're wrong, they're wrong. Please let me know. But it gets into that roughly 2.5 months. That's all. That's it. So I just want to put this video out there. Again, shout out to Punk. You know, and this will tie into the video that I did. I'll release this a day after the one that I did for Dark Dimension 4 planning. But this 2.5 months really ties into that video where I kind of go into, you know, this guide where I talk about, you know, well, you've got X amount of time to get this much stuff done. Because you've still got, you know, 1.5 to 2.5 months to get to level 80, to get these type of things, which ties in with the fact of plan smart. Because in that video that I did, which I won't elaborate on here, I basically tell you that I tried to plan really well with conserving gear, and I still have all this gear to get. So I'm looking at myself not getting into Dark Dimension probably for a 1.5 to 2 months here. And that's, you know, hopefully enough time to get all these things. And that's hopefully, you know, where I just focus on these tunes. So, you know, and again, that's, you know, you factor in this, the other infographic that kind of the G15 uniques. And you use this final one in here where we're talking about different, that's funny, you see the playback video on its side, but that doesn't matter for this. But all of these infographics combined, our hope is that they're going to help you plan. So this combined with the video that I did the other day, showing you've got 2.5 months, you know, factoring in this specific thing, knowing how much gear you had. And I mean, and the truth is the next video you could do is, well, how long is it going to take me to do this? Well, the truth is that it depends what you do. There's so many different variables and so many different gear that you need here or could need here that's more of a stream discussion. I mean, you could do it. Verdronius honestly could probably figure that out pretty quickly. But there's so many variables there that I'm not necessarily going to do that video, because if I've got damage, that might vary versus SBCs, and that might vary versus my mini uniques versus my tier 13. And it's just, there's so many, and within each tier 13, it could be this and that. So that could spiral out of control real quickly and really get tough to kind of consolidate into a video. Or even a spreadsheet type situation to figure that out. But knowing how much time I've kind of spent farming these already and how conservative I am, it's going to take people a long time to get into Dark Dimension 4. And this 2.5 months shows you, again, getting to level 80 gives you a little bit of that, but don't necessarily upgrade those tunes if you're not going to bring them into Dark Dimension 4, because like I said, you're going to get to level 80 here in a couple months, and that's just with the 50 core refreshes. So you're going to get to level 80 and go, well, man, now I've got all this gear that I've got to farm, and I'm going to do what with it, right? I'm stuck. I can't do much in Dark Dimension. So plan accordingly. Don't spend a bunch of money or resources only to hit a wall somewhere else later. You know, that's really what I'm trying to help you with. 2.5 months for this, a bunch of time for the gear later. Plan accordingly. Hoping these infographics help. Shout out to Punk, Patreon to support if you want to do that. Again, always in the link in the description below. We're out here trying to put this stuff together to help people plan a little bit more appropriately. So that's all I got. Really long-winded to tell you 2.5 months for the level 80 grind, but I wanted to tie it into, you know, how you can use that as a tool, because that's really how I got into content creation, was these tools that I was using and giving them to other people to hopefully help them be more efficient with their time, effort, whatever. That's why this is here. That's why I'm elaborating as much as I am, is hopefully that stuff can help you too. So anyway, I think I've talked enough. Hopefully these things will really kind of get you guys to what you need. Come by the Discord, link in the description below. Again, shout out to Punk for putting these things together. Until next time, well, hammer down that like button, description button, notification. You guys know what I'm talking about. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.